No one noticed when she left the table, but everyone remembered when she came back. Because she wasn't holding food, she was holding proof. And by the end of that dinner, one of us would wish we had never sat down. It started small. It always does. My mum never liked my wife, not in a loud way, not in a way you could easily point to and say, "That's it, that's the problem." It was quieter than that, sharper. The kind of dislike that hides behind smiles, behind compliments that don't quite land right. "Still figuring things out," she'd say, or "Some people take longer to settle." Always said casually, always in front of others, and always with that pause afterward. Like she was waiting for someone else to notice, but no one ever did. Or maybe they did, they just didn't say anything. And that silence, that was worse, because if you called it out, you looked like the problem. So I didn't. I let it slide, again and again and again. My wife, Ananya, noticed, of course. She always did, but she never made a scene, never pushed back. She'd just smile, tight, controlled. Then later, when it was just us, she'd go quiet, not angry, just tired, like she'd already been through this conversation 100 times in her head. She told me everything early on, about her past, her early 20s, how things didn't go the way she planned. She dropped out of college, tried different jobs, left them, started over, again and again. She said she was embarrassed, said she didn't want my family picking her apart. So when they assumed she had graduated, she didn't correct them. Not exactly a lie, but not the full truth either. I didn't care, still don't, because I knew who she was now. And that was enough. But my mum cared, more than she ever admitted. Last weekend, we had a family dinner at my aunt's place. One of those long, crowded, slightly suffocating gatherings where everything looks normal, but never feels that way. People passing food, talking about nothing, laughing too loud, avoiding real conversations. You know the kind. At first, everything was fine, too fine, like something was waiting. My mum was quieter than usual, not silent, but measured, watching more than speaking. I noticed it, didn't think much of it. That was my first mistake. Halfway through dinner, she stood up, said she needed something from the other room. No one cared. Why would they? People leave tables all the time, but she took longer than expected. 5 minutes, then 10. And when she came back, everything changed, because she wasn't empty-handed. She was holding a folder, not a casual folder, not something random. This one was thick, organized, structured, prepared, and something in my chest dropped. She didn't sit immediately. She stood at the head of the table, and for a second, no one said anything. Because we all felt it. That shift, that tension, like the air itself had tightened. Then she smiled. That same polite smile, the one that never reached her eyes. "I think," she said slowly, "there are a few things we need to clear up." Forks stopped. Plates paused mid-air. Conversations died instantly. And then she opened the folder. Paper, printed, highlighted, stapled. It wasn't messy. It wasn't random. It was deliberate, like evidence. She started talking, calm, controlled, too controlled. "Some stories don't quite line up," she said, and then she looked directly at my wife. Ananya didn't react. Not immediately. She just sat there, still, watching. My mom continued. She pulled out pages, one by one, placed them on the table, old Facebook posts, LinkedIn profiles, archived pages, dates circled, gaps highlighted, nothing explosive, nothing shocking. But together, it looked intentional, like a pattern, like something hidden. "This," my mom said, tapping one page, "suggests you didn't graduate." Silence. And this, another page, shows a completely different timeline. Still silence. And this, she paused, raises even more questions. No one moved, no one spoke. You could hear the clock on the wall, ticking, louder than it should have been. I looked at Ananya. She wasn't angry, she wasn't defensive. She looked tired. Like she had expected this, like she had already lived this moment before. And that's what hit me the hardest. Not the folder, not the accusations, her expression. Because it wasn't shock, It was recognition, and something inside me snapped. I didn't plan it. I didn't think. I didn't calculate anything. I just laughed. Not a normal laugh, not amused. It was sharp, sudden, uncontrolled. The kind of laugh that makes people uncomfortable. Everyone turned to me. My mom froze mid-sentence, and I said it. Without filtering, without stopping. You really did all this? Silence. You went full detective for this. That's when she snapped. Her voice rose, not loud, but sharp. I'm trying to protect you, she said. Protect me. That word, something about it, made everything worse. And before I could stop myself, I said the one thing she wasn't expecting. I already knew. And just like that, everything shifted. You could see it happen, right on her face. The control, the plan, the entire performance she had built, collapsed. What? She said. I knew, I repeated. Ananya told me months ago. Silence. This isn't new, I added. The room felt smaller. You think you exposed something, I said. You didn't. No one moved. And even if you did, I paused. This is insane. Her eyes widened. Who does this? I continued. At dinner? In front of everyone? Now people were shifting in their seats, uncomfortable. My aunt tried to interrupt, tried to change the subject. No one followed. Because no one could. The moment had already gone too far. My mom opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. Nothing came out. Because there was nothing left to say. The folder, still open. The papers, still on the table. But suddenly, they looked smaller, pointless. My cousin stared at his phone, scrolling, not reading, just avoiding. My brother didn't look at anyone. No one defended her, but no one defended us either. And somehow, that silence felt heavier than anything else. Dinner ended early. No one said it out loud, but everyone knew. It was over. Or at least, that version of it was. Later that night, my mom pulled me aside. Her voice was different, quieter, but colder. You humiliated me, she said. I didn't respond. You made me look crazy. I almost said something, almost. But then she added, you have no idea what you've done. And something about that stayed with me, because it didn't sound like anger. It sounded like a warning. That same night, my brother texted me. You didn't have to laugh. You escalated it. Maybe I did. Maybe I made it worse. But here's the part I can't shake. Because 2 days later, something strange happened. Ananya got a message from an unknown number. No name, no context, just one line. Ask your husband what he didn't tell you. She showed me, and for a second, I didn't understand. Because there was nothing. Nothing I had hidden, or at least, nothing I thought mattered. But then, I remembered something small, something I had dismissed. Months ago, before we got married, my mom had asked me a question, a simple one. Are you sure you know everything about her? And I had laughed, just like I did at dinner. But this time, it didn't feel funny, because now I wasn't sure. Not about Ananya, about my mom. Because that folder, that wasn't something you put together in a day or a week. It took time, effort, planning, which meant this didn't start at dinner. It didn't even start recently. It had been building, quietly, in the background, and if she had been watching Ananya for that long, what else had she been watching? Who else? And why? That night, I couldn't sleep, because for the first time, I started asking a question I never thought I would. Not about my wife, about my mother, and the more I thought about it, the worse it got. Because one detail, one tiny detail, didn't make sense. Something I had completely missed at dinner, something no one noticed, not even me, until now, the folder. It wasn't just about Ananya, because buried between those pages, mixed in with the printouts, was something else. Something I didn't recognize at the time, but now I do. Because it had my name on it, and I have no memory of where it came from or why my mom had it. And suddenly, the question changed. This was never about exposing my wife. This was about something else, something bigger, something I still don't understand. And the worst part, the message wasn't wrong, because now, even I don't know what the truth is anymore. And somewhere in the house, that folder still exists, closed, waiting, like it's not finished yet, like this story isn't over.